Smacking, cracking, and watching. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe. Will, season 1, episode 3. This episode is called Two Gentlemen. Can y'all believe it? Two Gentlemen. In the beginning, I didn't understand where they were coming from. Had an idea. It was a decent episode. It starts off when we see young William Shakespeare, who's troubled, restless. He grabs his rosary. He's shaking, hallucinating, still having these hallucinations. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too familiar with his background, but I wonder if he had like some sort of mental disorder, but I'm definitely going to look into it. I love the around the back entrance at the docks. You can hear the water, you can see it, you see birds, and then they get up. The camera shots are just crazy because we see this camera shooting forward and it's like a knapsack, like as if you were to be kidnapped or whatnot. You know, they're putting a potato bag over your head almost, but the potato bag would be over the camera. It was really cool. The confession, when he's doing his confession, we see William, they're really focusing on, the man, the man, the myth, the legend. He's got this 5 o'clock shadow. He's got his little earring in his ear. Pink lip. He's got these bright blue eyes, pink lips. His nails were so freaking nasty because, they're stressing the fact that it was not very cleanly back then. You got waste all over. People were, shouts out to 2017 and sewage. We have sanitation now, getting rid of your waste these days. Hand washing solves so many diseases. It's ridiculous. Stressing the fact that, hey, at this time, there were no trash bags. There was no, landfill. Folks would just throw stuff out of their windows and didn't wash their hands after they did stuff. And his nails were freaking disgusting to me. He was in this confession and they're talking about passion, right? He said there will be a toy sent to test you, but the feelings will pass if you're strong. And we know who the toy is. The toy isn't a toy. The toy is a Burbage. The toy is a Alice Burbage. Will is so deep, man. He wants his passion, which is writing these tales, writing plays. He wants this to touch souls, but he doesn't know how at this point. I love how someone called him a man of conviction and talent. So in this episode, we see a whole lot of distribution, and we're not talking drugs. We're talking distribution, underground method. The way people nowadays would sell drugs, this is how they are being underground, creating, distributing these writings, how his cousin is handling his business. They're showing the rise of William Shakespeare. So we're seeing what he thinks is the hottest, he thinks is the most fire, coolest, legendary play. They're saying that it's terrible. They're saying it's garbage. He thought he created magic. Richard's kind of cool. I like Richard in this because Richard just really wants the attention. Richard striving for attention and glory is completely different than Marlo. Marlo is sickened by his attention is a drug. Marlo wanting attention and fame is a drug compared to Richard wants it to feel happiness. Marlo wants it because it's intoxicating. He has to feel love. He's so drunken by everything, power, success. It's killing him. Little does he know. Richard's funny. He called that chick handsome, and I about fell off my couch when I saw that. I love the cast in their clothing. Why? Because it's different. It's 2 different types of clothing, though. Like I said, when I watched the pilot, I felt that the bright colors on some, and then it was kind of grungy on others. They're like rock stars, kind of, sort of like fitted pants and vests with tattoos, and they're like Aerosmith kind of, or Guns N' Roses. They're like rock and roll punk stars, like punk rock or something. You know what I mean? That garage band is how I see it in my head, how they're dressed. Well, in the courtyard, they're always in bright colors, which is the way whenever we see it, like Still Star-Crossed, or we see a movie from that time period, they're more like period clothing. Or when it comes to Topcliffe, he's always in black, but in that traditional form of clothing. I like that. I like the weather. This episode, we got to see daytime. When Will saw his cousin, we saw like that little grass area, and like I said, the water. It was raining. In the raining at nighttime scene, it was beautiful. I like how they're incorporating the elements. Back to when Will thought he had the best best thing since sliced bread, but they said that it was garbage. The crazy actor who's so eccentric, he says laughing, he said make them cry, make them laugh. Well, you also gonna make them snore. That was hilarious. They're stressing time in this episode, and when they're stressing time, they're saying Will and Alice at this point, they're like, I don't want to say it's like they're flirting and frustrated. You put two and two together, right? Will's avoiding her, but when you avoid something so long, you know it just draws you to it. So he says, he's like, you need time. I don't have time. And then he ends up saying to Alice, I don't have time for toys. And she doesn't know what that means, but we know from the confession that she's considered a distraction. But like I said, when you pushing something away, it's only so long, but that you want it and you really desire it. And obviously he desired her and he had her. Marlowe's lair. Let's talk about that. Marlowe's lair is a sex dungeon. It's the skulls. He's got skulls everywhere, man. It's like so, like he's such a thespian. The burgundy, everything. I mean, it was so many butt naked people up in that man's home. I didn't know what to do with myself. I think I did like I was at a rated R movie and your parents said close your eyes. I was like this. Too many man butts. For me, I'm cool with the one I got at home. I'm cool. But it was an unusual drunken sex pad is what it was. But the one thing I enjoyed about Marlowe, when he got up, walked through his crib butt naked, and he poured that wine all over that man, and he said, now be gone. I lost it. I thought that was hilarious. I said, dang, he did that like a boss. He said that he felt like, when he said tragic degenerate about himself, I'm like, okay, so he's also, are these writers are always nuts? You know what I mean? Like, who's the one who cut his ears off? Van Gogh? Like, why must people who create epic works be so just tormented? So we have this guy, like I said, Matthew, who's shaving his head so crazed, so he's shaving his head like a madman to the point of blood is pouring down. He's scraping his skin. He doesn't seem he's unfazed by the fact that he's shedding blood everywhere. I nick my leg shaving, I'm gonna freak out over those 2 drops of blood that hit my shower. I'm saying, that's just me. This guy has blood, some dried blood. He's not even shaving his head right properly. He goes to this church to harm the preacher with a knife, and Topcliffe jumps on him and he's saying, back up, I got this, I know this man. He ends up saying to Topcliffe, I'm a messenger and I've read these life-changing writings. Oh, thank you for feeding me this wonderful dinner. It looks like I haven't ate in months. My whole family is dead. So he's got nothing to lose. It was a little awkward, weird. So I guess I'm thinking to myself, is Will a coward? Slightly. Is Will a bad husband? Well, he did cheat on his wife. Will have mental issues? Probably. All of that is an element to who he is. It's an additional ingredient. His madness, promiscuousness, it all led to works that are taught to children, teenager. And if there's a guy who you have a crush on, you're calling him Romeo, my Romeo. And if a guy has a crush on a girl, it's my Juliet. Tragic love story, but it's legendary, right? He did something good with his life. When Will went to his cousin and he said, I don't have money for ink, I felt like, wow, it's that deep. That's like, say you're into a sport, but you don't have money for tennis shoes. You're going to go to somebody who can hook you up. It's not too far-fetched, I guess is how I felt. His cousin said, we sleep tonight and we fly tomorrow. I thought that was one of the best lines of this episode. To find out that Marlowe followed him, wow, Marlowe. You are just a lingering little serpent. I really enjoyed when they had their cousin-to-cousin talk. And if I was at an eagle, it was like an Old Spice commercial. The eagle just landed on his cousin's hand, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. What are we doing? But his cousin said, basically for William to plan to write this beautiful, powerful letter. And if you can combine the two, then you found what you need to find. And that's when he said, I got this. I know how to work what I need to do with the theater. This little boy is still in the dress, and it's bothering me at this point. He's still scamming to get his sister money to get her free, yet his sister is very comfortable with she's very comfortable with living that risky lifestyle. She's not interested in getting out at this point. She feels that that's too far down the line, that they can't attain that goal of paying all the money to get her out. She'd rather go turn up, have fun, get drunk on her own dollar. And she's so scandalous. We see another little lady of the evening night in there looking at her like, oh, she's got money. So who knows if the girl will even get out. She might get beat up, robbed. Who knows what next episode is going to bring. When Will and Alice stole the book and they were running through the courtyard and we saw all those bright colors we were talking about earlier, I'm like, dang, it's that deep. It's that deep. This is real for him, that he's willing to beg, borrow, and steal for his craft. Two Gentlemen of Verona. This name of this episode is Two Gentlemen, The Two Gentlemen. And we know that the play that young William Shakespeare, the almost legend, he names this play The Two Gentlemen of Verona. Alice and Will collab, and it was beautiful to see, them come up with them play on words together until they get it penned with his feather and ink pen. And it was also cool because women at that time did not act, but she's carrying out these words as if she was an actor. They're showing a lot with the show. They're showing how gender is, how sexuality is, how religion is, how occupations are. It's a lot. It's a lot. And they're still, talking about that Montague Capulet life that we know happens later on. Will calls Alice the essence. She is the essence. And that was beautiful. It was so gorgeous. It was so romantic. It was dope. I like that. The essence. He got his kiss. Will got his kiss for good luck. Marlo into his very weird orgy type inspiration, I guess, but that's what he uses for inspiration. I mean, it was a circle of men. It was probably like 25 men surrounding him laying down. It was a lot going on. I wasn't ready for that, Will. I mean, they're also adding this whole cheating aspect to Will. I don't need y'all bashing me in the comments talking about, oh, everybody knows he was whatever. Look, not everybody knew. I mean, I didn't know, but I'm still watching the show. So, okay, it was interesting to see Will and Alice go from a kiss to engaging in some serious bed shaking activity, okay? Because in the back of my head, I'm like, he's married, but he couldn't. The toy, her essence, it got him. That was episode number 3, y'all. Drop a comment what y'all think. Do you enjoy this show? Do you like this show? Do you think it's going to make it to a season 2? Probably. It probably will. Do you feel it's some stuff that they need to dial back on? Or are you cool with it as it is? Anyway, thank y'all for watching. It was cool. I mean, like I said, it was a decent episode. I would like it if they show more of the father Burbage, because I'm a fan of his. I think all of his lines are really good. I would like to see more of the mom, the whole Burbage family. How about that? More in the city. Maybe some new characters pop up. Maybe a little less Marlo. But I get it. They want that shock value that'll get people watching the show. I get it. Anyway, I'm in the car to this review, y'all, because I got a lot to do today. So I'm just going to talk it out. All right?